Hi everyone, good afternoon, it's good afternoon here in the UK. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I see we've got a Mick in Florida. He's very good morning for him. Yeah, got Rolly Mania. Good afternoon, my friend. And I'm going solo today. Quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing my Tudor P01. This is a watch I bought in memory of Blue Shirt Butter when he passed away. I had to buy a watch. So it was I'd always had my heart set on a P01. So it's just, I remember him when I wear this watch, and when I started, of course, I started streaming with Blue Shirt and Watch Talk with the Punters and the Flipping Zippo show. So this is my watch I like to wear when I'm streaming to pass on the sort of memories of him and keep the spirit with him when I'm going. But we'll move on to the topic of the show, the BQ Watches opening show. And it was such a great event. I'd like to tip my hat to Spencer Dreyer for getting together, just spending so much time and effort on getting a fantastic venue together for the event, and to Dee from DeeTimeLove Show for helping promote the event and organizing the exhibitors, and Spencer's established a wonderful space now. It really is a wonderful space. It's amazing. Lots of different rooms, lots of different exhibition spaces, places where you can see customers. Of course, people who don't know, BQ Watches is one of the biggest secondary grey market dealers in the UK, if not the biggest. Fantastic collection of watches, fantastic inventory. Some great stuff. And of course, he does his watch show with Gavin. I must thank Gavin. I haven't got it with me, but he gave me one of his cartel hats. I should go and get that actually. But thank you, Gavin, for that. Gavin, he gave me one of the cartel hats, and that's great. But they do a watch show on every Monday night called That Watch Guy London. So tune into that. But I'm on my lonesome today. The other guys are all busy in the beautiful summer sun, doing their own things, and so I'm going solo today. So I wanted to showcase some of the brands that exhibited at the watch show, and there were micro brands. So not the kind of thing that Spencer's used to. He's a more high-end watch dealer. All sorts of brands. Typically, Rolex is his bread and butter, but Vacheron, Cartier, Audemars Piguet, sorry. All sorts of high-end brands like that. Some fantastic watches that he had on display at the show. Can't tip my hand to his staff enough for looking after us all. They're really great, I must say. But we'll crack on with some of the brands I wanted to showcase to you. And these are micro brands. Some are from Great Britain, some are from abroad. But I'll share my screen and we'll get on with it. So let's have a go. So, Jose Miranda, I caught him with an unfortunate picture here with his eyes closed, but he's from Isotope Watches. Now, Isotope Watches, this brand really, I was blown away by this brand. Really did love them. Run by Jose, based in Harpenden, England, 30 minutes from the BQ showroom. His Hydrium models with microblasted 316L stainless steel, 40mm cases, exhibition case backs, anti-reflective sapphire crystal, screw down crowns, 30-meter wall resistant, 22mm quick release straps, and Swiss Landeron self-winding movements, and bespoke finishing and perlage, 40 hours power reserve, accurate to minus 12 to plus 12 seconds a day. And this one I was really struck by. I loved it immediately. It's did a limited edition run of 50 pieces in collaboration with Second. Don't know whether you're familiar with them. They're French, or he is a French collaborator of watches. He's done one with Bamford. It's a customization house based in France, and this was to commemorate Isotope's 7th anniversary, but also to the end of one of their models. And Second changed the brand's name on the dial to an anagram of Isotope, which was Autopsy, or Autopsy, as you can see on the top there, which stands for Autopsy, a reference to the end of the model, and also made the second hand look like a failing heartbeat in a heartbeat monitor in green to match the railway track style chapter ring, and in green on the logo. And this sold out straight away. I really wanted to buy this one off Jose, but it was his own personal version. It's his own last model that he had. And I absolutely loved it. I really did love it. It's fantastic, I thought. Yeah, other watches you had were the old radium bronze pilot watches. A nod to their brave pilots fought in World War II, he said. And they don't actually use radium, but have a faux patina luminescent coating applied on the numbers, indexes, and brushed bronze sword hands. And they came in brown dial, olive and green ash, grey oxblood red for different look, and the first batch are limited to 12 of each colour. And the CUSN8 bronze cases, which are one of the finest quality of bronze alloys available, apparently. I quite like these. Didn't take my fancy too much, but I was more into their dive watches. But I quite like these, and you can see the Isotope logo, which is like this sort of skull on the front. Yeah, it's pilot's watch. Yeah, nice, really nice. Not for everyone, but I like the colours. I like the red especially. These I really liked. I mean, the judge on the left, named because the colours are red and black, like that of a uniforms of a judges. £924. That one comes in at. And the Alba in the middle. This one really took my fancy. This is a collaboration with Scottish Watches, the podcast, and the Hydrium Alba gets its name from because the word Alba comes from Scottish Gaelic and refers to what we now know as Scotland. And it's quite a refined dive watch, having a white enamel dial and lovely heat blued hands, which are lume filled. So it's an enamel dial on a dive watch for about £924. An enamel dial that you're getting, and heat blued hands. Beautiful. It's a quite refined dive watch, having a white enamel dial, as I say, and lovely heat blued hands, which are lume filled. Uses a Swiss Landeron caliber 24, installed with 40 hours of power reserve and 120 click bezel, with a sapphire insert and clean dial with no date function. The bezel is pretty redundant because it doesn't have any numbers on it, but it's very decorative and looks great. So this is the one on the orange strap I'm talking about. It's 40 millimeters, 300 meters water resistant, limited to 100. And yeah, as I said before, it's £924, tax included in the UK. And all watches are priced in the UK, excluding UK VAT. If you're outside of the UK, check the website for pricing. I should have put the website in the chat, but I've got my hands full a bit really here, so sorry about that. Just like to say hi to Nick C. Good to see Nick C. and Dodger in the chat. Yeah, the Hydrium NASA on the right. To ensure the safety of astronauts, the re-entry capsule is equipped with a heat shield, and as it moves through the atmosphere towards the Earth, part of the heat shield cools the module by burning off. And this not only plays a vital role in safe return to Earth, but also creates a unique distressed texture on the outside of the re-entry module. And for Isotope, this was the inspiration for the Hydrium NASA watch. To replicate the texture, the 316L case of the watch has a polymer coating called Cerakote, and the applied coating creates a distressed look to make each case unique. And the dial is the main eye catcher with the NASA logo at the 6 o'clock position, matching the red of the second hand. And they say NASA were over the moon with the design and officially endorsed the watch. So Nick Mankey created an exclusive strap with the NASA logo, and is double dome sapphire crystal, the Landeron movement again, visible through the exhibition case back, and the extensive decorations on to the movement like blued screws and perlage and Code de Genève on the rotor. And this is limited to 200 pieces and starts shipping in August. And it's £990 including VAT. And you can see the Alba there again, which I really like, the Scottish Watches collaboration. I was really fond of that. Really liked it. I was considering buying one of those. So yeah, just need to save the money. This one was lovely. He matched it up with the strap really well with the second hand. This is called the Hydrium Pro Nordblad, and this is a collaboration with and also a tribute to Johanna Nordblad, who's from Finland and is a world-renowned champion women's ice freediver who's broken the women's world record for freediving. The blue second hand on this watch is a nod to the sea, and is a watch which is a true pro diver with markings on the bezel and the visible quartz Arabic numerals filled with superluminova. Joanna was the first human to swim 103 meters under the ice without fins while wearing only a swimsuit in March 2021. And while that record has been beaten by men, she still holds the women's record for that amazing accomplishment. And this is limited to 100 pieces and available now for £1,080 including VAT. Very nice. Yeah, I love that. Love the colour on this. And great summer watches, I think, these watches. And as you can see with the different strap colours he's got, Jose's got on these Isotope watches. Brilliant summer watches. Really good. Really good. Just skip on to this one. The Hydrium X Exit Taking its inspiration from popular art and design, this watch has a fully loomed dial which features an emergency exit running person symbol in the center position at 4 o'clock on the dial. Just there, you can't see it, can't quite see it, but I'll show you a picture later on where you can under UV light. Only visible when loomed in the dark, and as soon as you've made your exit in the daylight, the logo can't be seen. I think this is quite a fun intention of the watch, and also a capable dive watch, which is limited to 100 pieces. They'll start shipping in July, so just start shipping today, or maybe not today, but maybe you have to wait a bit longer for this. £840 including tax in the UK, and we can see there under UV light just at 4 o'clock here, you got a little man doing an exit sign. I'll just try and make that a bit bigger. You can only just see it. Man running out of a door. You see there? But it's just a fun little aspect of Isotope. Is likes doing different things. And there's the NASA watch fully loomed, as you can see. And then this one was really interesting. The Isotope GMT 0 degrees. A true sports GMT, being water resistant to 200 meters. This watch displays GMT hour on the center ring, and on the day it uses a dot style disc that rotates underneath the dial. And this mechanism was first used by a German brand, Orbit, then Swatch used it in the 1990s, then another brand which I forget, and then Oxen Junior, which I'm a big fan of, Oxen Junior. £1,160 tax included in the UK, this one. It's a 41.5 millimeters in diameter, 14.2 thick, exhibition screwed case back with the words major cities and time zones, and 24 millimeter strap tapering to 20 millimeters. Swiss made customized Swiss tech or lander on movements are available, and it's self-winding to 40 hours power reserve. And I really like this, and because I'm a big fan of Oxen Junior with the dot date ring. I think it's really funky. No date at 3 o'clock. It's using a really different, and as you can see, it's got this GMT in the middle, so it's telling 12 o'clock on the GMT at the moment, or just past 12, probably about 12:15. And yeah, the dots, I can't tell what dot it's what date it's saying at the moment, but yeah, maybe this is a prototype model, but I'm sure a dot will appear in one of these date rings. But lovely, yeah. So move on. That's the NASA watch again. Not for everyone. I mean, the NASA strappers, as I say, was designed by a designer, different. And these are the lander on movements that he uses with the perlage. Quite nice watches, I think. Nice dive watches. Really good summary watches, as I say, with the straps. Really nice summary watches. Good fun. And that's his card, Isotope. He was giving 10% off at the show. So it's really good for you to go to these shows if you can. You can get offers 10% off, and on the I should have brought the card with me, and I could have given you the discount code. Oh God, I'm so disorganized. Sorry about that, everyone. Yeah. So move on to a different brand, Duckworth Press-Tex. Now, he's been featured on That Watch Guy London. Neil Duckworth. He's a great guy, Neil. This is his coronation watch. This is King Charles III. 39 millimeters, and it's the same case as his Varimatic model, using an automatic movement, which is a Miyota, I believe. And as what he says, he likes using his other automatic watches in the Varimatic, the Miyota 8255. It's got a small second subdial with 2023 written on it. You can just see, I'll just zoom into that. You can just make out 2023 at the bottom of these sub-seconds. Placed at 4:30, and this watch comes in the salmon pink, which is this one, or a midnight blue, which is that one. And each color limited to 365 pieces, costing £795 each. And they've got lovely Art Nouveau Arabic numerals and leaf hands. I love those Art Nouveau Arabic numerals. They're really nice. Really are nice, I think. Just look at those. Got a lovely finish to the numerals, that curved 7 and the curved 2. And the, yeah, really nice. He's using a sapphire crystal and exhibition case back for the first time, he said. And the case back is also engraved with a coronation. It says Coronation 2023 Duckworth Press-Tex, United Kingdom. So if you're wanting to celebrate the coronation, there's a coronation watch for you. And yeah, there's Neil at his stand at the show. And there is Neil Duckworth holding one of his watches. Now, his family founded Prestons of Bolton in, I don't know whether you're familiar with Prestons, the jewellers. Prestons of Bolton in 1869. And they started making their own pocket watches under the Press-Tex name in 1920s. And as the family company started to sell mainstream brands like Omega, Rolex, and Hoya in the 40s and 50s, the Press-Tex brand started to fade away and got discontinued. And in the 80s, Neil broke away from the family business and went on to work for Tag Heuer and was responsible for bringing Tag Heuer to the UK in the distribution aspect. So this is a man that brought Tag Heuer to the UK. And despite a successful career in the watch industry, Neil's always wanted to resurrect the Press-Tex brand, and that disappeared in the 60s. And Neil has now done that by adding his own surname, Duckworth, to the brand to make it his own. Producing classic watches that can be worn every day, he says, just like his grandfather did. And designed in England and inspired by original Press-Tex models that came before them. And yeah, good on you, Neil. I really tip my hat to people who want to start up their own brands or resurrect their own brands, but he's resurrected his own grandfather's brand. So great work, Neil. And these are some of his chronographs, which are the chronographs are £495, and they have a classic cushion case and 100-meter water resistant, and they're using a Miyota 6S21 quartz movement and come on a Horween leather strap. And they're 42mm by 13mm thick, limited edition of 500 pieces, They come in a blue sunburst, which is on the right, a green sunburst, which is in the middle, and black sunburst styles. And they also come on Milanese bracelets, which are $695. And yeah, they're lovely watches, really nice watches. I mean, I know Gavin from That Watch Guy London has bought one of these, and he was wearing it at the show, and they're great value for money. £495 for a lovely watch, really nice watch. Move on to his Verimatics. These are 39mm and come with a choice of black fume, blue fume, or the most popular, which is the orange fume dial. It's not surprising that that's the most popular. They're great. These has the Miyota 9039 automatic movement and in the case, and have a screw down crown giving the watch 200-meter water resistance. The case is 11mm thick and have a double dome sapphire crystal with an anti-reflective coating. And the Verimatics are limited to 500 pieces each and come in various strap options. 700 on and 95 on a Milanese bracelet again. And some more color, some more strap options there. The suede strap options. I think there's a rubber strap on that orange Verimatic on the left. But there's some lovely suede strap options. That blue suede one's lovely. Yeah, really nice. And you can see the Milanese bracelets here I've been talking about. Excuse me. Yeah, some lovely Milanese bracelets. I'm a huge fan of the Milanese and shark mesh bracelets myself. But they also do a dive watch you can see on the right here called the Belmont, which is 895 and comes in different dial colors, green, blue, and orange. And that's 795 on a rubber strap, 300-meter water resistant. Uses a Miyota 9039 and 38 hours power reserve and 42mm wide. So some great offerings from Neil there and his company, Duckworth Prestex, that were exhibiting at the show. And we'll move on to what a brand that many people will know, Studio Underdog. A brilliant brand, really. I mean, so you're talking about summer watches earlier on with the Isotope, and these are immense summer watches. You want something to go out in the sun now, and you know, just not too expensive either. If you can get hold of one, you have to get on the waiting list for these. He opens his windows. He's just had a window, and he was telling me that he's just his main goal now is to finish distributing those watches from that window before he opens up another window. But he's looking to bring out a field watch at some point, which will be interesting. But founded by Richard Benck, who's the person I'm talking about, 5 years ago. Richard started the business when he lived in London, but it's now based out of Brighton. And the watches are assembled in a village just outside of Reading in the UK. And they try to work with British independent companies when they can. So the straps are made by David Richards, aka the Strap Tailor. The movements, not this strap, this is his new Milanese strap, which is an extra £75 if you want this one. And the movements in the watches are the Seagull ST 19101 column wheel chronographs, which were used by the Chinese Air Force in the 1960s, I believe. And they started life as Swiss Venus calibers, caliber 175 movements, before the tooling and designs were sold to the Chinese Air Force. And Studio Underdog have a multi-stage quality control process where the movements are checked before they're cased up, and when they're cased up, and the movements are again checked and time tested and then regulated. And even in the booklet that you get with the watch tells you how it's running and how many seconds and plus minus it is. And the models are strawberries and cream. This lovely aubergine one, which was a collaboration with Fratello watches, which is now sold out. You can't get this one. And this pumpkin one. Now this was a interesting pumpkin. This had a lovely story to it. This pumpkin watch was designed by an 11-year-old stepdaughter of a customer who contacted Richard via Instagram, and with the design of what she would colour a Studio Underdog watch like. And Richard decided to make 2 of these colours, and gifted one to the girl, and then auctioned the other for a charity called Mary's Meals that helps provide meals for school children in some of the world's poorest countries. And that's the picture that the girl did. Really fascinating story, and just shows Richard's got a great heart and is willing to sort of do these kind of things, and the auction watches off and do things like that. But there's Richard himself, the man, a young gentleman with great ambitions and great visionary, with one of his watermelon watches on. And here we go. We've got the mint choc chip. We've got the Goofy Panda. We've got the, what's this one called? I'll check. Desert Sky watch. And the watermelon. I think that's his signature piece now, the watermelon. Yeah, really beautiful watch. And as I say, if you can get on one of his when he goes live with his waiting lists. I mean, I think the last one ran out in 9 hours or something. People signed up for it and it was done in 9 hours. But beautiful watches, really are. Just lovely. There's the watermelon, and there's the Seagull 1901 ST1901 movement, column wheel chronograph. Looks great to me. I mean, I think it looks great. A lot of people diss Chinese movements, but it did the Chinese Air Force, and it's the same movement used in the Seagull 1963 pilot's watch. It's a good movement. I mean, this is more of a fashion brand, I guess, but there's the Desert Sky and the Goofy Panda. Yeah, more of a fashion brand, but great watches, I think. Yeah, the mint choc chip. Hi, Young Excellency. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you in the chat. Now, this was an interesting one. Never heard of these before. Bavarian Watch Company, founded by Mark Geese, who's also head of design and development in 2022. They were founded, so they're only a year old. The watches are made in Germany, as the brand is based in Munich, but use all Swiss movements. The automatic watches are 200 meters water resistant and use a Landeron L24 movement. And they have exhibition case packs, as we can see here, and sell for €555. And they come in slate back, which is the one here, sky blue, which you can see here, and Issa green colorways. And the model is, this model is called the Isseria, which I believe is after the Iserian River that runs through Munich. And after the first 50 pre-orders that priced at 555 euros are made, apparently, the price will increase to 1,555 for full production models. And these are 42.1 millimeters in diameter, or 44.9 with the crown, and 10.7 thick. And Frank's biggest challenge was finding a unique design for the brand, he said. One that wouldn't look like other brands. And he wanted a well thought out details and innovative shapes, as well as a typographic tradition of Munich. Now, this is quite an interesting shape, this, I think. It's reminds me of Vacheron. Not quite the Corne de Vache, but something Vacheron-esque. It's quite an interesting case shape. Yeah, it's his signature case shape. He's going with it through all his watches. These are his quartz watches. The quartz models are the company's first watches, he says, and retail for 333 euros, coming in white dials, black dials, and blue dials. And I wish him well after 1 year in business. I mean, yeah, the watches may not be for everyone, but you can't help but wish a startup company well. I mean, good on him. You know, he's starting his startup company. These are more the quartz ones at 333 euros. Again, I'm a fan of Milanese bracelets, and can't go wrong with adding one of those. More of the quartz ones. Yeah, interesting watches. And there's Frank himself holding one of his watches. Bavarian Watch Company. Munich. Bavarian Watch Group, sorry. So, the Devoy Group will move up to higher end now. The Devoy Group are at the show, representing many brands that they do so well as a distributor and sales agent. And Andrew from the Devoy Group was there with his wife Penny. And this started with Czapek for me, with looking at the Devoy Group's watches. And they're very busy showing people the watches, so I only managed to take some photos of what were in the cabinets to start off with. There are a couple of ladies' Antarctique models. So there's this one, and this one, which are diamond indices. But beautiful watches. And then this one, which really took my fancy, which was a beautiful aventurine dial chronograph. But there are also distributors for the brand Cyrus, which is Jean-Francois Mochons is the technical director of the brand. And Jean-Francois Mochon's a bit of a watch god, really. Between 2005 and 2020, he designed and delivered over 100 watchmaking developments for tens of brands, winning 10 GPHG awards as a result, plus Best Watch Designer Prize in 2010. Now, Mochon started his career with IWC and then became a partner in the Chronode group, the movement manufacturer based in Le Loch in Switzerland. And he made the movements for Cyrus, but also made the Kaderberg movement for Czapek, as well as the tourbillon movement and other movements for Czapek. And he also did the Opus 10 for Harry Winston, has worked for MB&F, and is currently working for Hermes on their Time Traveler watch, which was released at Watches and Wonders this year. Excuse me. And hi, Chili Badger. Good to see you, Chili Burger. Great to see you, my friend. And yeah, the Cyrus Tepis Dice watch. This one's amazing because it's what's it called? Oh, I've forgotten what it's called again. The positioning. Vertical. That's what I'm looking for. Vertical tourbillon. Yeah, it's a vertical tourbillon, this one. With retrograde vertical tourbillon in the middle. Tells seconds in the middle there as the vertical tourbillon rotates. It's got retrograde minutes on the right. Retrograde hours on the left. And a power reserve ball that rotates from 1 to 4 to show you how many days are left. And this is a solid gold and was, get it, wait for it, £220,000 this watch. So if I remember correctly, so it's a bit of a banger of a watch, this one. Yeah, 220. You heard me right. Now, some more Cyrus watches here. And this one, the Klepis Dice, which was which is the dual chronograph, was around a year or so before the MB&F sequential Evo dual chronograph. And this year, Watches and Wonders, they released the lime and yellow version, which is this one. Bit of a bad picture with the light shining on it. But this is a lime and yellow dual chronograph. You see the yellow hand at the bottom and the lime hand. They're both second hands for the chronograph. And it's got a carbon bezel and a titanium bracelet. This was 41,000, this one. Bit of an amazing watch. Amazing to see it operate. Yeah, it's a bit of a stunner, really, this one. Yeah, as I say, the Klepis Vertical Tourbillon in gold and DLC is limited to 38 pieces. As the tourbillon turns on the edge of the tourbillon, you see the seconds rotate, and it's just so it's 210,000, not 220,000. So some more Cyrus watches. Clock 2. They're interesting. They're an interesting exhibitor. Made in Germany. A unique brand making table and wall clocks that spell out the time. A lovely interior design feature, really. Available in more than 20 languages. I think 23 languages they do. So you can take off the front of this clock and put on a different front in a different language, and it'll tell time in different language. They also make a watch now, which wasn't on display, but they do these clocks in. This is a small one, which is an alarm clock, I believe. Then they do these big ones in 45.45 centimeters, which are £1,390. And then these really large ones, these big wall clocks, which are 90.90 centimeters large, 6,000, and they go up to I've seen them advertised. They must be in sort of precious stone or precious metals, but I've seen them advertised for £67,500 on a jeweler's website. So they must be really expensive ones. But yeah, really interesting. Really interesting stuff. Ikepod. Now, I don't know whether anybody's familiar with Ikepod. These were interesting. Been going since the 1990s. And at that time, they were a micro brand that were actually retailing their watches at higher prices than Rolex. So I was told by the representative. They made their first watch in 1994. Then in 1997, brought out the Hemipod, which had the 1970s inspired UFO design that the watches have now, featuring a lookless case concept for attaching the strap. They're also inspired by a number of trends using the 90s, including the large diameter watches measuring 47 millimeters. And from 1999 to 2006, the brand gained a cult status and were retailed by many of the world's horology boutiques like Hourglass, Chronopassion, Westtime, and Colette. And their factory in Bassecourt, Switzerland, was also inaugurated, making the brands an independent manufacturer. And not long after that, Ikepod went into bankruptcy and were relaunched in 2008 as a more exclusive brand with watches in gold, platinum, ceramic, and titanium. But despite previous success and a good international distribution network, the company's activity was put on hold. And in 2017, Christian Louis Cole, who was a big fan of Ikepod since the beginning, brought the brand to its designs with the intent to revive the brand. And he decided to make the watches more affordable and asked the legendary watch designer Emmanuel Guit to create the Chronobrod and Duopod dials, which resulted in a fusion of the iconic Ikepod look and a modern design. Ikepod was relaunched on Kickstarter, with the watches being assembled in Hong Kong and with Japanese movements to ensure prices remained affordable. And 2018 saw great success on Kickstarter, and 2020 saw the long-awaited return of the Ikepod automatic watch, the Megapod. Famed watch designer Alexandra Peraldi brought the original authenticity of the first Megapods from the 1997 to the design of the 2022 collection, and a design which evokes both the vintage and modern. And 2021 saw the introduction of the C-Pod. So this is the C-Pod GMT. It's a bronze diver. And as you can see, the little GMT hand there, it's quite hard to see, but just at 6 o'clock, the GMT hand. This is £2,295. I think they are using Miyota movements now, though. So they are not. I believe they're Miyota. But they're going for a more sort of more affordable price range rather than the original days of the expensive watches. And this is the Megapod, I believe. Miyota automatic. 1,150. This is the Megapod in collaboration with an artist, Tom Christopher, which is 1,275. It's quite a nice arty design if you're into quite a nice summer watch again. With flying birds on it. And then the chronopod. I quite like this. This chronograph. It's a funky looking chronograph. And as I say, got that UFO style case, sorry. Yeah. I'd wear one of these, definitely. Love that case. Really funky. The way the strap's hidden. And the case protrudes over the strap. Really like it. Really do like it. So the chronopod is £725. And I believe that's a quartz, Miyota quartz. You can see the chronopod behind, and the Duopods, which are 595. So they're using Miyota quartz again. Quite a nice one, the white one. Quite a nice ladies option, the white and gold dial. Yeah, not for everyone. So another brand that some of the pricing that they had. Another brand that the Devoy Group were representing was Guiliano Mazzuoli, based in Florence, Italy, and discovered design. The Guiliano Mazzuoli discovered design late in life, he says, and has designed many things like pens, which you see here. Designed this pen to look like a coffee machine. Well, not machine, but the one that you put on your stove where you have the water underneath and the coffee brewing in the top. And I'm not sure whether he's actually got an architectural background even. But the designs for his first watches came to him as he was looking at the pressure gauge of an old air compressor. And these are called manometro in Italian. And he knew right away they'd found the inspiration for his watches. So there you go. There's a pressure gauge called a manometro. So you can see straight away that the design of the watches comes from that sort of pressure gauge look, which is it's a unique design with the crown at 2 o'clock. Really nice. I quite like them. Not for everyone, definitely not for everyone. But yeah, interesting. I mean, designed in Italy and Swiss made. They aren't for everyone, but have a very quirky design, as I say. And they start at £2,300 and go to £3,500. So I'm not sure what the movements are. They're probably Solita. But as I say, not for everyone. But yeah, it's nice to see people trying different things rather than the same old style of, same old case styles and same old same old dials. It's nice to see people getting inspiration from other things like pressure gauges. I can appreciate these. I don't know whether I'd wear one. I can appreciate them. I would wear one actually. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why not? These are funny. These ones. The Epos. They're a brand from ranging from £800 to 3,200 pounds. A Swiss brand that only make mechanical watches. They say no quartz, mainly hand wound as well. Founded in 1983, so quite a young company. A lot of skeletonization to these movements, and run by a Swiss German, um, using ETA, Solis, and Unitas movements. This chronograph has a Valjoux 7715. You can tell by the layout of the subdial that it's a 7750. There it is again. It's got the day and date, as you can see. As I said, a lot of skeletonization to these watches. Here's a skeletonized dress watch using an ETA 2824. It's definitely not for me, this one. Yeah, but each to their own. I mean, good to see different things there. And that was the back of it. Again, skeletonized. And an open heart pilot's watch with a seconds register designed like an altimeter. Which was, yeah, interesting. I'm not into open heart watches myself. I don't really go for them. I suppose it's like saying you don't like tourbillon, seeing the tourbillon, but that's slightly different, I suppose. It's more fascinating to see a tourbillon. But yeah, open heart don't really do it for me. But that's the back of it. It's quite an interesting back. As I say, there's a lot of skeletonization going on. But yeah, EPOS, so they're ranging from 800 to 3,200 pounds. And they're all hand wound. There's some more of the EPOS watches. As I say, not quite my bag. Dress watches and open hearts and skeletonized watches. I don't know what people think to these. And another brand, Emile Chourier, founded in 1998, so even younger, 25 years old. And these are going from for £600 to £15,000 for a gold ladies' watch. And they make their own in-house movements, they say, and make 60% ladies' watches. So, yeah, fair enough. Swiss made. This was the Challenger Cliff in the middle, you see. The Challenger Cliff's a chronograph with power reserve, and it's £3,000, which, yeah, I found a bit expensive, to be honest with you. It's a Valjoux 7751. But you know, I'm sure they're selling and there's a market. This one I found interesting. This is, I don't know what the name of this one was, but it's using a 7751 again, Valjoux 7751, and it's got the it's got the day, the on the dial, the date, a pointer date, You can see there, pointing to just after 5 o'clock. A moon phase and a chronograph. So it's quite a busy watch, this one. There's quite a lot going on. And this one was 3,250. I prefer the look of this one a lot more. Even though there's a lot going on. Yeah, quite like this one. It's quite an intriguing piece. There's a lot going on. The calendar and the chronograph and everything. But again, there'd be other watches I'd prefer, but it's very interesting to see this one. Very interesting. Yeah, here's a Cyrus vertical tourbillon again. Just a quick, brief movement. You can see the vertical tourbillon there. You see how the seconds tick. Amazing. Look at that. You see the seconds ticking round. You see the seconds ticking round there in the middle. Fascinating. And this was the Cyrus dual chronograph. See those yellow and green second hands timing separate elapsed times. Hi Junior Johnson, good to see you, my friend. And there's Kleppis Dice, the original one with the red and blue on my wrists. I really like this one. And the back of the vertical tourbillon. And on wrist as well. £210,000 on wrist. Yeah. Interesting watch. Really interesting watch, that one. Oh, and back to the Czapek. These were, I mix these photos up a bit because these were all run by the Devoy Group. So I kept going back to these. But this one was just stunning. And the back is a Vacher movement, and it's same movement used in a Richard Mille, this one. Same movement used in a Richard Mille. Vacher movement, which I thought was really interesting. But the aventurine dial was just stunning. You until you've seen an aventurine dial, you really can't appreciate them enough. They just sparkle. And it's me badly handling the watch. Trying to trigger the chronograph. Now you can't see the chronograph hand, the second hand on the chronograph. It's so hard to see. Very hard to see. So thin. So thin. It's almost as if it's just reflects. But interesting, yeah. So move on to Zero West. They were there. having been going since 2016. They're based in Emsworth, England, a village near Chichester and Portsmouth on the south coast. They like to build watches around themes of historical British engineering, aviation, motorsport, and railways. Often now featuring in their watches. This first picture is one of their 100th anniversary of the train, the Flying Scotsman, which was their first train to break the 100-mile-an-hour record. This FS1 watch takes its design cues from the dials within the steam train cabs and uses a Sellita SW200 and is 41mm and now limited to 100 pieces. And Andrew, the one of the Zero S crew here, is holding the second Flying Scotsman watch, the FS2, which I really like the dial of. The dial on this watch here copies the famous clock on Platform 8 at King's Cross Station in London, and again uses a Sellita SW200 and is 41mm and is limited to 100 pieces. And both of the Flying Scotsman watches retail for £3,000 excluding VAT. This next piece of theirs is a part of a Aston Martin DB-R1 in the back of the drive shaft was used, and only 58 were made to honour the 1958 Tourist Trophy race that Stirling Moss won at Goodwood. So it's them using parts from cars and motorsport engineering. Again, back to aviation engineering. This is the DB-80 Lancaster watch, which commemorates the 80th anniversary of the Dambusters mission, and even has a bit of aluminium in the back from one of the Lancaster bombers that took part in the Dambusters mission. And yeah, there's the front of it. Zero West only made 50 of these watches and sold half of them in 2 weeks. So obviously a popular watch. Next, two Spitfire aircraft watches, and again I believe they contain metal used in World War II Spitfire aircraft. Quite interesting. Got the brown sort of loom on the dials and to match the brown straps. Next was a DLC Dambusters commemorative watch, like we saw before, like Andrew was showing me the back of, and another steel one with a another steel Dambusters watch with a black dial. Now on to another brand which I really liked. Great summer watches, Out of Order. I thought these were great summer watches, and they are Damaged in Italy written on them. So founded in 2013 and based in Venice, Italy. The concept is that the watches look vintage already, apparently, I was told. So there's a process applied to many of the steel cases to make them look patinated, which is interesting. They also want to have fun with the watches, with different colours and textures. And the Shaker collection in this first picture has been very popular, and you can see the picture. There's I'll just zoom in a bit. As the left one is called the Margarita. Then we have a Cosmopolitan. So these are named after different cocktails. Then there's the Irish Coffee. And then on the right, there's Sex on the Beach. I love these colours. I mean, brilliant summer watches. Really, really nice. And these are all GMT watches. As you can see, you might not have been able to see there. They've all got a GMT hand. They're using Seiko NH34A movements and compact in a cocktail shaker with a 2-year guarantee. And they're only £449, which is, I think, is really reasonable price for a fun watch with 300 meters water resistant. And they're 40 mils, these ones. And I thought these were great. I really enjoyed them. And the next three all dedicated to different cities. So San Francisco is on the left. That's San Francisco dial. Then there's Marrakesh in the middle. So we've got the San Francisco dial. Again, GMTs. Marrakesh. And I've forgotten what the one on the right is. It might have been Paris. But these are using Ronda 515 24-hour quartz GMT movements, and they're only £245, which I thought was great for a summery watch. £245. I mean, it is a quartz, but I'd rather have one of these than a Seiko, to be honest with you, for that price. I mean, people say, a lot of people diss micro brands and, say, oh, why not buy Seiko or Citizen instead? But I'd rather spend the money on supporting a micro brand, to be honest with you. 100 meter water resistance, and these are 44 mils, these ones. The next was the Bombay Blue. That was from the Shaker collection as well. As you can see, that's definitely cocktail inspired with the Bombay Sapphire behind it. Then a watermelon. This reminded me of the Studio Underdog type watches. A watermelon coloured quartz watch, great for summer. Very Studio Underdog-esque in its colour palette. And next to some divers using the Sellita SW200 movements. So they're a bit more money, these, £800. So some more casual dressy pieces here. They're quite different, these different sort of dressy look pieces. Different straps. Very nice again. I like the design of Out of Order. Really nice. Really nice watches. And great price points as well. Just fun watches, yeah, these ones, all the straps on those are made in Italy as well. So an Italian brand, and the straps are made in Italy. And then back to a few more pictures of the Sellita Sellita powered divers, which I believe sell for £800. I said. I love the way it says "damaged in Italy" on the dial. So yeah. Really nice. Now, a contentious brand with some, because Squale. I mean, so Squale, I didn't know much about the brand apart from the fact that there's a lot of Mickey taking people do over the TGV voice, Squale. And but it was interesting to talk to the representative and learn more about them. They were started in 1959 by Charles von Buren and have been manufactured case manufacturers for other Swiss brands, the most well-known being Blancpain, I believe. And they've supplied the Italian Navy as well as the Italian police diving unit called the Polipetto. They've also collaborated with environmental seagoing projects as well as old and recent world champion freedivers. And Charles von Buren sold the brand in the early 1980s to the Italian distributors. And the 1521 model on the right here is the staple watch. This is the brand's the core range of the brand with the orange minute hand. And that's €959, so about £800 ish. So there's some very colourful variants like the turquoise here. And next is a carbon diver, which I actually quite liked. I'm into my blacked out watches, and the carbon diver for €1,359. Yeah, I quite like this one, to be honest with you. Doing very popular carbon at the moment. We've had the carbon FXD, Tudor FXDs come out. So carbon's on the horizon for a lot of brands. But Squale are doing their carbon thing for quite a good price, €1,359. Then one on a Milanese bracelet. I mean, as I said, you know, I'm a fan of Milanese bracelets, and always a big fan. And then their latest models, which are the white militaire dial with fully loomed dial, and also the bronze diver, which is their latest watch with a crown at 2 o'clock. I've seen watches with crowns at 4 o'clock, but I've never seen a watch with a crown at 2 o'clock. Very interesting. All of their watches use Solita SW200 movements and are between €900 and €1,300. So, I see D in the chat. Hi D, good to see you, my friend. And onto a brand that he's ambassador for. Let's see a few more Squales first. And you see on the flag on the background, it's got Von, VON, and that's a tribute to Charles von Buren, the founder, apparently. So yeah, but we'll move on from Squale. There's one of those that looks a bit like a Pro Prof with the bezel lock on a different angle. But we'll move on to one of these brands. These are representing these, and they're Atawak. And in Mandarin, Atawak means unique. And these are established in 2010 as a watch manufacturer and are currently focusing on different time-telling methods. They're made in Hong Kong, I believe, and the Atawak Cobra, which is the one you see on screen now, uses a familiar wandering hours mechanism with a rotating Saturday hour wheel that points to a minute track. And these are very likely designs for her work, but costing a lot less, around £1,600 these. I believe they're fitted with Miyota movements. They come with multiple straps and have a simple strap changing system. They're 43 millimeters by 50 millimeters deep and have polished stainless steel case with carbon fiber trim. You can see the stainless steel one on the left and the carbon fiber on the back on the right, or they may both be carbon fiber but just different colors. I'm not sure. D might be able to correct me in the chat on that one. But yeah, great looking Urwerk style watches, these. Great looking. The next one's the Atawak Windows watch. Now, these ones are interesting. The Atawak Windows Pro watches. You see the hours display is very like that of a radio, old FM or AM FM tuner inspired, and there's a minute track below with retrograde minutes, and these start at £400 and go upwards, so very good pricing on these for a nice quirky design. I'm all for different designs in watches, different time telling aspects. I really am. You know, I'm. Who needs? We all know the normal layout of a watch and clock, but it's different time telling aspects are really good fun, I think. So that's the Windows one, and the next model is the Etoile Drift range, and these are really retailing from between. Excuse me. From between £600 to £1,100, and again, like the Cobra watch, are very Urwerky, Urwerk design. Look to them with the wandering hours and a minute track on the right hand side. Yeah, very Urwerky, as you can see. Wandering hours. See the satellite, the wandering hours hand there, pointing to the minute track. And this one would fit under the cuff easily, and you wouldn't have to move your cuff much to just pop this out and tell the time quickly. So it's quite a handy feature, that. So next, Sega Design. Sega Design was founded in 2016 by one of China's top 10 industrial designers, and the company's won 17 international design awards so far, including Red Dot Awards, German Design Awards, and it's also the first Chinese watch brand to win a GPHG award in 2021, which was the Challenge Watch Prize. They were also awarded as one of the top 3 watch and jewelry brands, along with Apple and Bulgari, in the German IF Awards. They have 12 designers from around the world designing their watches. And the first 2 watches pictured here are the U series. On the right, the GPHG winning Blue Planet, which became the first ever watch collected by the Museum of Art and History in Geneva. And on the left, the 24 karat gold version, which is £1,500. Sorry, I think it's in ceramic, and has a very unique time-telling device. I think the Blue Planet original ranged from £960 to £800. And there's the Blue Planet, and again, it's got a very unique time-telling device. As you see, this little arrow here, just at 4 o'clock, points to the rotating minute disc and the rotating outer hour disc. So the time there is 4:58. Yeah, 458. So that's again really, really interesting. I really appreciate these different time telling systems. They've got some ladies models as well. Which are the Antarctic Antarctic models. Which are, there's the gold one, the 24 carat. I presume that's gold leaf covering. It will be solid gold. There'll be a gold leaf coating. And here's some of the ladies' models. And then we've got the Sega Design Series Z Edge range of skeletonized watches, which are £220. And the White Ladies XKI with spring suspended X-shaped movement, which is skeletonized again. So it's like a spring suspended movement, as you can see here. I'll just zoom in. So skeletonized watches again, but coming from the Chinese brand Sega Design, which are very interesting. Now, just to round off with, we've got Elliot Brown, and yeah, really interesting pieces from Elliot Brown. I like these a lot. I've been going 10 years Elliot Brown since 2013. Long-term friends Ian Elliot and Alex Brown started the company, and have been based in Poole, Dorset, England, I believe. And they're suppliers to the military and mountain rescue services in England and Wales. Watches made in Hong Kong to keep prices down. And the Holton watches in the first picture, quartz, and cost £475. And this green one is the one developed in response to a request from a specialist branch of the military, and that's the broad arrow's crow's foot, as you can see. The broad arrow, or the crow's foot as it's often called, on the dial. It also comes with anti-reflective in an anti-reflective PVD coated model for stealth, and uses the Swiss Ronda caliber 715 quartz movement. And there's different color variants, as you can see. Got a nice blue one there, and then different more sort of, well, I suppose that's another lighter blue version. And the next photo shows some automatic versions of the Holton using a Seiko NH35 movement. And instead of being the cheaper version, cheaper 475 like the quartz, these are 650, which is, you can appreciate, from automatic one. And the NH35, the Seiko NH35 movement, is a workhorse movement. And yeah, a great workhorse movement that's used in many micro brands. And yeah, so a great little watches for £650. These are some of their Land Rover collaborations Each of these is a collaboration with a different model of Land Rover, and there's I think some of the classic Land Rovers and some of the Defenders. You can see the Land Rover. What's it called? Land Rover, not Icon, Insignia, or the spelling of the Land Rover at the top on the dial, and that one's got it there. You can see in the last photo there, just at 12 o'clock. Above these, they had in a different container, they had excuse me, a different container, they had the Canford range, which was Elliot Brown's first range of watches featuring an inner rotating bezel. A sport field watch started at £365, which is an absolute steal. Inner rotating bezel, as you can see, because it's got the double crowns. And you can see how many watches Elliot Brown have in their range from these photos. Case loads. Absolutely tons. Yeah, absolutely loads of them. And that was another case load they had. And just boxes of watches. So there's a lot of watches in their range. So if you look on the website, there's some great watches to be had. Here you can see there's a PVD coated one that they've got, and a bronze PVD coating they use. They say bronze PVD rather than fully bronze because of the soft nature of bronze. And they prefer to use a PVD coating, a bronze PVD coating, rather than bronze itself because of the soft nature. And this was one of those that uses that bronze PVD coating, the Beachmaster, using a Sellita SW300 with a GMT function and an internal timing bezel. Yeah, you can see the GMT hand there on this one. Can't remember the price on this one, but yeah, it's a quite funky looking watch. The representative was wearing one of these but not in bronze. So that's come to the end of it. Yeah. So that's it, guys. Yeah. Some really interesting stuff that they had on at the event there, the BQ Watch event, and it was a great social event as well. Really great to meet people. Like I met Rolly Mania, I met the Watch Apprentice, and all our usual guys, Uncle Jonga, Dodger, Jamie Opulence. We had such a great time. Yeah, it was a really good opportunity to go and meet up with your friends from the watch community, the people that you see on YouTube, and socialize and have fun, see some watches. And I can only say, if you get the chance to go to one of these watch shows, do it. Yeah, I can only recommend it highly enough, and I'd like to thank Spencer for all the work he's gone through for getting together his amazing showroom in time for the event. You did a brilliant job, Spencer. And yeah, it's mind blowing what you've managed to achieve in that premises with the with the with the with the space you have. And I'm just reading a comment from D here. Hey Thomas, great coverage. Was great seeing you. Hope to see you at the show. Exclusive news. 2nd and 3rd of September, some of the brands will be doing a launch of the big BQ, a big show coming soon. So there you go, guys. There's another one coming up. If you didn't manage to make it on the 10th and the 11th of June, there's another show coming up. 2nd and 3rd of September. Put that note as a note in your diary. And the brands will be doing a big launch of a BQ show coming soon. There it is from the man himself. Another man I've got to say a big shout out to. Dimitri from DeeTimeLove Show. What a job you did, D. Absolutely brilliant. And yeah, great job. Great job. Yeah, really, really good job. Yeah, and as I say, it was thank you, Spencer and Dee, for giving us the opportunity to see these brands and to meet up with our friends. We had such a good time, and it was really was a good time to. Really was such a good event. Hi, 30 Danny, good to see you in the chat. Thank you, Junior Johnson, for voting. Yeah. So if you guys want to give us a thumbs up, that's great. If you haven't subscribed yet, that's another thing. But yeah, I'll just leave that up there for D. So that's about it, guys. I haven't got really much more to yap on about. I hope that was just some use to you, to give you a little insight if you didn't manage to get to the show. And yeah, big shout out to all the guys that were there and made it what it was. And to Spencer, to D, to Gavin from That Watch Time London, That Watch Guy London, to Dodger, Jamie, Jonga, Greggy Boy, Ian Nicholson, Rolly Mania, The Watch Apprentice. Oh, I could go on and on, you know, just the amazing people that were there. Muhammad Ali, who I met. Yeah, just it was a great time and a great event had by all. Really did have a good time. So I'll say goodbye for now, guys. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully see you in the next one. So take care. See you guys.